We are live. This is the market update. Is everyone down on Bitcoin? Yes. So it's time to buy Bitcoin. Does everyone think ETH is going to 15,000? Yes. Which might mean it's time to buy Solana or some other altcoin. Now, I know ETH is looking good, and I don't want to interrupt ETH looking good. But I think we're in the kind of world where we do the opposite of what everyone thinks. Like, for example, flows into the Bitcoin ETF have stopped. Is that because people are FOMOing into equities? It could be. I mean, equities trade like the champion of the world. You have to wonder about that. But when no one wants Bitcoin, that's when you pick up Bitcoin. ETH, similar, right? The ETH treasury concept. I just can't believe how fast it came up on us because all this was going to zero several months ago. And I don't know if it's cringe or not, but let's talk about XRP. Let's talk about XRP good and XRP cringe. So a company decides to start with a treasury, a crypto treasury, and starts to put XRP in the corporate treasury. And the stock of the company goes up 12%. And I'm like, let me get this straight. Everybody in crypto is giving up on XRP or is selling XRP above $3, but some company buys it for a corporate treasury and they moon it in the stock market. Now, I guess in the stock market, they'll moon anything that has a narrative, but I just get this feeling that they're more bullish crypto in the stock market than crypto over here. That's because every you-know-what coin in the world is not mooning at the same time. I get it. But I think we have to pay attention to these signals that corporate crypto treasuries trigger rallies in stonks. And it's also unbelievable that people are giving up on Bitcoin. The Coinbase premium is down. So it's like you can go to Coinbase and buy whatever you need to buy and not have it be at some exorbitant price. Interesting. That's a reflection of dwindling institutional demand. Sticker shock? Maybe. Citibank put out a snarky article today that says Bitcoin will go up if people continue to buy it. And if people don't continue to buy it, it won't. It's a good point, right? It's a more interesting point when the dollar is going up because that's what's been happening. Wall Street is going to get completely short squeezed out of its negative dollar view. And that's going to hold back crypto temporarily. But again, once they're done squeezing everybody, remember it's the end of the month. Everyone wants to go on vacation. We've covered this. Once they get done squeezing the dollar out, it's going to be time for Bitcoin. And I think you're setting up, I hope, some kind of like mini August mania in alts. In other words, I just keep getting this feeling that they keep trying to hold it down, hold it down, hold it down. Or it holds itself down because of lack of demand or Jeets just buying it and selling it 2 days later. Right? It's as simple as that. Right? So another statistic about Bitcoin that is both interesting and disturbing. So BlackRock and MicroStrategy together have managed to get a combined 1 million Bitcoin. Now, Saylor has been doing it since 10K. BlackRock probably started at 20K. But it's kind of amazing that 1 million Bitcoin got drained out of the system. I don't know. It was a 4X? That's pretty good. But I looked at this and I'm like, you know what? The market didn't go up enough. 1. 2, what is Uncle Sugar's excuse? I mean, obviously the supply of Bitcoin has been reduced. But if Uncle Sugar wants a Bitcoin strategic reserve, why isn't he doing it? The private sector just did it. Yeah, it took them some time, but they're not going to market buy a million Bitcoin. Why is Uncle Sugar not doing it? The private sector has already done it. And I think some of the soft price action in this market, understandably, is that people have very low expectations of any crypto-related announcement at the end of the month. So nobody believes it can happen. So if it does, and people have given up on Bitcoin, that should be interesting. Like, not interested in the Bitcoin ETF, not interested in spot Bitcoin on Coinbase. The private sector bought 1 million Bitcoin, and that's it. We're done. That's it. Nothing to see here. Over. Let's go do something else. It has paid to buy this thing when no one is interested, when no one cares, right? Even in some ways, it's funny that we don't care, and the Chinese Bitcoin mining company is going to be opening up in Texas or Florida soon. Again, all this Bitcoin mining made in the USA. Where is the made in the USA crypto talk? We need it. Really. I mean, Bitcoin ETF inflows dropped 80% last week because they're too busy FOMOing into tech stocks. Again, now I can't begin to predict what is going to happen with tech stocks. I mean, it feels extremely lofty. And now that I talk about it, I'm wondering if the reason that Ray Dalio from Bridgewater all of a sudden got, kind of uber long gold in Bitcoin, or at least a recommended allocation, because he knows that something's going to go down in stonks. Ooh, that should be interesting. Sometimes people buy the dollar because they're afraid of something happening. Dollar happened to be on sale and everyone is short, but I just think it's interesting that everyone's like, no one cares about Bitcoin. No one cares about this. And the same thing is in altcoins. It's happening. Now, altcoins are still, people are still enthusiastic. People are still thinking, hey, altcoin season can happen. I think it's more like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana season, but we'll look at it. There were a lot of altcoins this morning with the market down that were still up 5%. There are people underneath the market here. If crypto, everyone's looking for top down, like they want the big coins to move, but to me, it feels like the little coins are starting to push up from the bottom. This is a very interesting phenomenon that's going on like this morning. Okay. And just in case you can't get any more like surreal, watch this. Like, for anyone who has actually been listening to the show, right? Like my partner, like we go on our podcast and she'd be like, don't give up on ETH. Don't give up on ETH. Don't give up on ETH. And ETH just cascades lower. It's underperforming Bitcoin. It goes down. A consensus, Vitalik was selling it at this level. It went back to the 2017 high. Now, SharpLink chairman says Ethereum is the future, declares ETH outshines Bitcoin in treasury strategy. So not only is ETH not going to zero, but I have to get it on the books of my medical device or video game company or whatever it is, and it's better than Bitcoin. And the next thing will be the flippening, although Bitcoin is like way too big for that now. That was all big during the BitBoy days where everybody was like ETH maximalist and ETH was going to flip Bitcoin. No one's talking about that now. But total altcoin market cap, could catch up to Bitcoin, right? In other words, Bitcoin is a monetary system. Altcoins are also a monetary system, and tech stocks. It's hysterical, right? It's nobody thinks about altcoins in that type of environment. Like, nobody thinks, hey, there's tech stocks underneath here. Okay. I also love this. If ETH pumps to 4,000, I will spend $4,000 to someone who just likes this tweet and follows me. We're acting like ETH at 4,000 is like a gimme. Yeah, there is a lot of chart reasons for this, but it's really kind of funny, right? How people are like, oh, yeah, this is automatic. Good. I'm glad. Now, if you want to see what the problem is, it's this. This is our pain, right? So dollar index, everyone's short. The dollar's suppressed in its downward sloping range, and everyone has to get out. Everyone has to get out. So crypto has to endure the indignity of stonks up and dollar up. And you know what? We're kind of doing okay. It's not looking that bad. I mean, if you go over here, I got kind of a watch list of stuff, I've been watching. If you look at this screen, this is all green, right? XDC, right? That's ISO 2022 2022 20022. Stellar, XRP, Algorand, Hedera, the Made in America cryptos, TIA, the fast layer 1, Celestia. Machines will not use slow layer 1s. I love how machines are not going. By the way, on the privacy front, like I'm looking at some of what's going on here, like ZBCN, some kind of like real world asset payment network, like share your computing power with us and we'll give you crypto that you can spend on a debit card. Hey, Normie's discovering DPIN. Let's look at this chart. I know a couple guys who are involved in this. It only takes one. Like, this looks like ignition to me. It does. Look at this. Alligator mouth formation. No, actually, it's better than that. There's a triangle. Broke out of the triangle at the apex. Boom, boom. Lux Algo putting support underneath it. And guess what? Money flow has been negative the whole time. So everyone's been selling it, selling it, selling it, selling it. Maybe it's a reward coin. Okay, well, whatever it is, boom. Solana's coming out with a phone. No one cares. I disagree with that, right? I disagree. Arweave is up big. I got a GAN model. Oh my God, I cannot get this thing off Arweave. Like, can we have another coin other than Arweave? It's like, no. Arweave up 10%. Like, you can't tell from looking at the main screen. You just can't. Right? There are a lot of altcoins that are seriously moving this morning. Reserve rights. Another thing that this model is like, dude, what are you talking about? I cannot go on TV and say, buy reserve rights. You're going to laugh. But it's a stable coin play, right? I mean, let's if you look at the chart, so this is okay, right? It's not terrible. But I mean, if you look at all of these coins, right? I mean, we do this every day, so I don't want to bore you, but I mean, tell me that we don't look at the bigger the base, the higher in the space every single day. Every single day. We look at this type of stuff. Now let's go to Monero. So I don't know all the details of what a 51% attack is. But to me, it feels like a group of miners or a group of people can come in and effectively take control of a project. In this case, it was a mining company, which also has its own token, Cubic, who came in and literally tried to get a bunch of Monero miners to come with it to take control of the network. At which point, all the Monero miners banded together. And now whoever this group that tried to take over was, they're now kind of like number 7 on the Monero mining list. Now, why would anybody want to try to mess with Monero? Well, the North Koreans might be using it. That's one thought, right? Or the Iranians. That's another thought. Or they're just not playing nice, right? They're very crypto positive as long as the orange man owns it. Look at this guy. This matters. I'm telling you. This is why you're in crypto. In the New York subway, after long hours of work, sleep deprived as hell, trials are brutal. This is the guy that wrote the Tornado Cash code. And he's on trial because, I don't know, because people are claiming he could have stopped whatever happened on Tornado Cash. Isn't it funny that we have a Tornado Cash trial and something happened with Monero on the same day? Now, whatever's going on there, you know, we don't know the future. We don't know what's going on. But you do have to remember that, you know, Bitcoin is outside the system. On one hand, it's not the dollar, it's not fiat, but they can still see everything that you do clearly, right? So does that mean that there are other cyberpunk avenues in crypto that need your attention? I think so. I think so. Like, why do we crypto? Well, because we want 100x. Well, I want 100x too. But what's going to be happening in 5 years? What happens if Mandambi, if I have the name right, wins the mayor election in New York City? Right? Speaking of New York City, I'm sure you saw what happened, or you heard about what happened, where you guy had from Nevada with the rifle, walks into a skyscraper and, you know, does bad things. So this is an important reminder. Make sure you make enough time to touch grass. Make sure you appreciate your loved ones. Make sure you appreciate the fact that you are in crypto, because crypto will save you from the machines. And so will Roman Storm, John McAfee, Antivirus, and Monero, right? Because their money is their money, and your money needs to stay your money and not become their money. Okay, let's go to TA. So this is Monero monthly. It has not paid to buy Monero up here. This could be a pause in a larger trend. Interesting that this attack did not make Monero go down. And I did some research and they're coming out. Somebody is coming out with EigenLayer, right? Which is going to be like a Monero Bitcoin combined wallet with like a DEX swap exposure. Wow. Can't wait to see that. ETH on a daily chart, it's still up only. And we'll see in 3 days when that 13 top shows up, what happens to ETH. You want to know what I think happens to ETH? I think ETH takes a break and Solana takes over. They got a Solana phone coming out. There's the battle at 180 now on a daily chart, right? In other words, here was when sort of the May avalanche started and Solana broke out and came back. Very interesting. So on one chart, 180 is resistance. On another chart, 180 is support. It's going to be a very entertaining month end, and into August. I'm telling you right now, you can probably already guess where I'm going with this, right? This is Bitcoin. They can't hit it. And this 4 means there's going to be a 5. There's going to be a new high. There's going to be a new high. And they put everybody to sleep again. They put everybody to sleep here. Boom. I mean, if big boy goes, everything goes. Like, it's the same here. It's a stair step. Everyone goes to sleep. Boom. Everyone goes to sleep. Boom. Right? I mean, seriously. It's a simple stair step. And even though I love Roger Vercoin, right? Bitcoin Cash feels like it's topped out, right? If you take away the sequential, so you can just see the D wave or the Elliott wave from DeMark, mean, this is very clearly 1, 2, right? Actually, they gave it a really small 3-wave. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then extended 5-wave. That's very emotional in Bitcoin Cash with that Elliott wave. Not that I don't like Bitcoin Cash, but Bitcoin Cash outperforming everything is, for whatever reason, is not a good sign for the market. So if Bitcoin Cash tops, yay. You get to buy the dip eventually. And it allows the rest of the market to stop going up because whatever jinx they have there ends. Speaking of jinx, let's look. Well, the Arrow is not jinxed. I was going to pull up Litecoin, but we'll just pull up Arrow. It's a market that can't get out of its own way, and it's almost to the point where, I think the Elliott wave work, where this was a temporary top, and this A shows a correction could be over. So if it doesn't really get messy, the D wave on Arrow is actually pretty good. It's pretty good. Let's look at Litecoin. Are the normies coming? Are they? Or are they not? To normie or not to normie? That is the question. I don't know, folks. It makes me want to do Bitcoin. Like all this resistance up here between 113 and 140. I'm not hating on it at all. Let's look at the weekly. It's like, this Sunday, you'll have a weekly close. You'll be into a new month, but you'll have weekly and monthly closes. Okay, weekly, there's still resistance at 132 in Litecoin. And of course, you're probably going to wonder why. And of course, if you look at Litecoin monthly, nothing has happened since FTX, which is kind of unbelievable in a way. You want all the jinx coins to stay subdued. Bitcoin Cash, top, Litecoin going nowhere with resistance. That smells Bitcoin rally. ETH has done well, but they're starting to get giddy with this ETH treasury thing, which is fine, but that could mean it's time for Solana. Do you realize you have an XRP treasury, but you don't hear much about the Solana treasury, and they're coming out with a phone, which for whatever reason no one wants, which is crazy, right? You would, if you had the money, you would want an encrypted phone, and you would try the Solana phone as well. I mean, how can you not try one of the original crypto devices, particularly since I think that's powered by Helium Mobile. We'll have to look it up and check it out. Okay. Decentralized devices. Privacy is worth research. You got to say, do your own research. Yeah. Research privacy. Like, for example, Monero has a wallet that you can use on your phone, right? Kraken has Monero. I had no idea. Right? You probably can't do, if you probably do more than a certain amount, they report you, but whatever. You can still do it. Right? Antivirus has a mixer, just like Tornado Cash. Do some research. Why is Arweave up 9% today? ZBCN, DPIN. There's a lot of DPIN coins, and there's a lot of DeFi AI coins. So just because it's not alt season, I think you have to think of it as alt reason. Why is this going up, and can it spread? That is the market update for today. I will see you tomorrow.